Is the end near, or are we just at the beginning once again? What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, January the 17th, 2021. And of course, the big question, is this the end? Or are we just beginning once again? And there is no answer. We don't know. Again, we don't try to guess and figure it out. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And of course, Goldman Sachs is now, nudging up their expectations for growth based on the new $1.9 trillion stimulus plan being offered. But I think we keep forgetting the one simple fact. That giving away money does not promote growth. It does not promote employment. It doesn't do jack crap, but keep people sitting home on their couch eating bonbons. Okay, it does not put America to work. Okay, so we can give away all the stimulus we want. We can have all the packages you want, but until you get people back to work, you're not going to get any growth. So, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we'll be going back to work anytime soon on a full scale basis. Half the country is still open, half the country is still closed. So, and of course, they're still waiting. The states that are closed are waiting for their free bailouts as well, which, of course, we, the wonderful, generous taxpayer, will get to fund once again. So, we can cheer on stimulus, and of course, the markets are cheering on stimulus because they continue to mostly go higher. I mean, a little bit lower for the week, but we'll get into that in our market section. But at the end of the day, okay, we know that the markets are still going higher. Yes, they had a little bit of a problem, but you cannot stimulate growth with money. Okay, without places to spend your money, how are you going to grow? So, we can talk about it all we want. Okay, we can promote how great it is. But is it really? And I don't think so. I have not been a fan of the stimulus since we had the first one. I'm certainly not a fan of it now. And I'm sorry to see that it only means that we will continue to see more destruction of small business. Okay? More of the people that have saved and worked their whole lives to build a business are going to be out. And, of course, that is a tragedy, but I think it more of a part of the grand master plan to get everybody under the socialist type of umbrella, okay? As Bill Gates says, the big reset, okay? I wonder if he's going to reset and turn in all his cash. I wonder if he's going to turn in all the farmland he owns and start over. I highly doubt it. This is the very characteristic nature of the very wealthy taking over a country. Okay, we can laugh about it, we can think about it, we can debate it, but at the end of the day, it's the same everywhere you go. It's the same thing that happened in Venezuela. It's where the wealthy end up with all the chips, and the middle class and the poor become one, and they have nothing. Okay, so we'll see. Hey, look, at the end of the day, we will see. But of course, when you have a Federal Reserve that continues to bury their heads in the sand and is just willing at will to print money, there is no hawkish tone to the Federal Reserve. It's print. We don't, and of course, this is the first step to more than likely a digital global currency, not the cryptocurrencies, which we'll talk about, but a global currency. Like the euro currency was the first big experiment of multi-currencies being mixed. Well, I think the next one is the global currency of digital matters, which means that all of us will have no more freedoms. Okay, we've already seen, our freedoms being destroyed in this country. But they want to. I think that's their target aim, is to go to totally digital, because then money's got zero value. It's already got obviously a lot less value than it did when it started. The minute they went off the gold standard and they went into the fiat currency model, I mean, that was the first start of real corruption. Not to mention, I mean, not there wasn't a lot before. Okay, but the Fed, they don't listen. It's, what does it matter? Just raise taxes. That's how we're going to fund all these wonderful programs, is by continuing to keep people home, and don't go to work. God forbid that we should work, and we can continue to, run the presses. But you look at what's going on, and of course the equities, are near record highs. You're seeing a big pickup in the commodities now, and all that means is that the extremely wealthy are looking for other places to put their money to work, because when you can borrow at basically zero and get a return on your money, why wouldn't you? It's a pretty simple math question, right? And this is what we get. This is what we have to look forward to, because the average guy on the street, okay, the guys who qualify for the bailout, okay, for the stimulus package, they're not looking to invest. They're looking to survive, okay. And I think the majority would just as soon go back to work. And of course, who knows who's tracking this? We know that in our country for many, many years, we have no idea of what's going on with the cash. Okay, the first thing, that the fact that the government doesn't have to live by and stand by a budget is a joke in itself. But we know how much swindling goes on from either illegal aliens that don't belong here, that have outgamed the system, or people that collect unemployment that are working. There's so many things that go on, and that has nothing to do with them paying, overpaying for every product that they buy, so that some company can get rich as well. It would be nice to have a little bit of a fiscal responsibility. Again, this is not a party issue. This is either party. Okay, this has nothing to do with President Biden or President-elect Biden, soon to be President Biden. This has got to do with the general makeup of America today. Is that we've given away so much, and we've allowed so many to make so much. Okay, and we just have to. I would love to see an audit and a firm budget. Okay, I don't like the ever printing. Now, again, as I've said before, I won't be around to see the real devastation, but certainly I feel for future generations, and of course that includes my kids and their kids after. But you now have, after last week's big announcement, Jamie Morgan said crypto, Bitcoin going 146,000. Not Jamie, his research department. I don't want to put it on Jamie. Okay. To now Goldman Sachs. Now I happen to know that Goldman Sachs has been involved for longer, but they are now putting it out there that they're in the space, and of course maybe they're getting ready to sell as they pump it up a little bit here. But I do believe that the crypto space is real. I mean, again, when you see what's going on in this country, okay, there's a reason for cryptos. Okay, people want, and when you have Christine Lagarde coming out now and talking about regulations, that makes it even a bigger reason for cryptos, because I don't know how they're going to regulate it. I mean, I compare the cryptocurrency wallet to the offshore bookmakers that have been around forever. And they've never been able to regulate that. But of course, the regulations are so ridiculous that we have to face in every walk of life that anybody's going to stay away unless you make it fair. That is why we don't have gambling in all 50 states, because the governments want too much tax. They don't understand the overall model and how a bookmaker actually makes money. Okay, and now they want to start potentially taxing traders yearly, annual on your investments. Are you kidding me? I mean, they're setting it up for mass destruction. Okay. And look, we'll see how it plays out. And I hope that I'm wrong. I don't want, there's times you don't want to be right. This is one of them. I don't want to be right here. Okay. But I can see this. I've seen this movie before and similar features, and they always end the same way in destruction. Okay. You have valuations on stocks, IPOs that are exploding every day. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter where it is. Money, no money, it does not matter. Okay. They're going up. And this is what happens when you have too much free capital in the system and not enough going on and money searching. I mean, we see it all over the place. And of course, then there's the, I guess what's in your wallet, right? Capital One, okay, just got a $400 million fine for money laundering. Okay, not doing the proper processes with their credit card. So I guess they don't want you to know what's in their wallet either. And of course, they easily paid it. It had no effect on the stock. And that should tell you the amount of money and flow that is going on. Okay, we look at the whole world now getting to the commodity market. It's now making the headlines. Does that mean it's the end? It used to mean, that it was the end of a move. But again, in what's going on now, okay, and with low interest rates forever, the mask of inflation will continue to be run through the BS money printing, the idiots from the Federal Reserve that continue to think their models work, and they continue to tell us we don't have any inflation, when, as I've said many times, ask any farmer if there's no inflation. Right? Ask them what their input cost is compared. Look at this fuel. Look at this fuel and fertilizer right now. So you don't think there's inflation? There is inflation, and inflation in a bond market is telling you inflation is only going to get worse. So, we can talk a good game, but you are on the brink of a major disaster. And then you bring up, of course, unemployment is rising again. And of course, how can you get people to go back to work when you refuse to open the economy? Not a lot of logic being used in any way, shape, or form by our friends in Washington, okay, the United States government, both Republicans and Democrats. Again, it doesn't matter. This is not a party issue. This is a group of imbeciles that refuse to let the free markets work, which should be a warning sign to everyone that the destruction of free markets is actually the destruction of what this entire country was built on. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, January the 17th. And of course, we'll come back with our market commentary right after the break. I want to remind you of our brokerage partners and remind you that I have other brokers as well. But the two I recommend the most highly is for commodities and futures is CTG Group. First of all, they are our only authorized letter direction broker, number one. Number two, they trade my accounts for me. Number three, they've got some great managed futures products. And number four, they've got great customer service. And for equities and options, okay, there's nothing like Trader. They've got four great reasons as well. Number one, $10 a month. I mean, I talked to somebody on Saturday. How can you beat the $10 a month? Okay, that's money in your pocket. Okay, so, and of course, they've got terrific customer service. We've got their APIs, so we have automated our programs. If you want, you have the alternative or the option, okay, to automate. And you don't have to. We don't require anybody. Okay, it doesn't cost you any more. If you would like to be automated, the only place we can automate it right now is Trader. Okay, and of course, I did a session 2 yesterday of the options training. If you'd like to get the recording, you can certainly email me. I'll be happy to send it to you. But they're offering a free 6-session options training course from the beginning all the way through. So I ask you, how can you beat that? And of course, our great partner at Family Farms, it's like I say, it's a tragedy that I can't get out and actually help and work with these farmers, especially now, because if they weren't hedging before, they should be hedging now. I mean, you should always be hedged, but again, now you have to really put yourself in a position, because look at these prices. They are in the stratosphere. Now, we don't give up the upside. Just to be clear, most that you've done business with in the past have given up the upside. We don't give up the upside. We benefit from both sides of movement from here. And of course, our commodity report, Andy Heck, I rave about it every day because it is so unbelievable. And especially you tie it together with our algorithms. It is one phenomenal product. And again, one of the brightest authors in the country. Number one guy on Seeking Alpha. Okay, at one time, the biggest silver trade in the world. It's called Technomental. Just go to BUBBATrading.com if you'd like to join up. And of course, our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, the market recap. Welcome back. We are in Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, January the 17th. And, of course, we are, looking at markets that continue to work their way higher, although last week was quiet and slightly lower as Friday's late day sell-off took the markets marginally lower for the week. But basically, they're in what we'll call a distribution model. Okay, they are, consolidating. That is really all you're seeing. The Russell managed gains out of all the major indexes, and it continues to be going to Pluto, which is also another sign that the end could be near. Now, we don't predict the end. We're long. We're along the Dow, Russell, NASDAQ, and S&P. Okay, and we will be long. Well, the markets are closed Monday, so we'll be long at least through Tuesday until Wednesday. Okay, again, I would think tonight the markets will probably be soft. I mean, going into the Martin Luther King holiday, which is tomorrow, we could have a soft market, because we're open for Europe and we close at noon Eastern, okay, or so, which is, when Europe closes. But it wouldn't surprise me if it was down quite a bit. But again, it's really not open, so the volumes are going to be light and markets can move. But overall, again, we're still long. We will remain long until that changes. So we would suspect that the next move will be higher. Now, at some point, it's going to change, and I do believe the next really big move will be down. But when will we get that next really big? The question is always when we get that big move, and nobody knows. So I'm going to tell you, we're long, we're going to stay there, and that's it. The metals, pretty good week for the metals, ball down. Actually, platinum was slightly higher, which we are long, and gold and silver were both lower, and we are short. Now, gold is at a key area, and on Friday really violated did some damage, and we could see. I think there may be a chance for that 1760 mark, okay, before this sell-off is all over, and it might be deeper. I look at the markets as a technical standpoint from one level at a time. I'm not going to make a major prediction right now. 1820 is next, okay, and if it gets through there, then you could be looking at 1800 and then 1760. So we'll see. But again, I look at one level at a time. But silver looks like it could be potentially running into some problems. Now, remember, trading is one side. I'm an owner of gold and silver in the physical side and from the long-term perspective. As a trader, I am short both gold and silver. Okay. Crude, a slight down week, but had some wild swings and some wild movement. It looks like it just wants to continue to go higher, and we're certainly not going to get in the way of it. All right, I'm not a fan. I'd love to be short oil, but I'm not going to get in the way of the trend or the direction. The direction right now still points to be higher. And, the bonds and notes at a slightly positive week. We're short both, but in fact, if you tune in on Monday nights, you would have heard me say last Monday that I expect this week, at least one day, we'll see over a full point rally. And of course, we saw almost 2 days like that because you're going to get bounces. Markets don't go directly to zero without some rallies. Because if you'll know one thing, remember, bear markets create the biggest rallies. Okay. The dollar, we are going to reverse tonight or by Tuesday. That really depends. My letter of direction portfolios won't change until Tuesday. But I do trade one portfolio myself, which I might change. We'll see. I'll see what the action looks like. In the meantime, we'll be long dollars now and short euro currencies. We're going to reverse both of those positions just so you know where we stand. Net gas was slightly higher for the week. And copper had a very volatile week, which could indicate some potential topping action. But again, the housing markets remain hot. So we'll see. We're not going to predict it. We're long. And that's where we stand. In the meantime, the grains continue to be headed off to Pluto. Okay. If you look at them on a weekly chart, they're going parabolic. Now, how long will it last? Look, I suspect there's a chance, okay, long term for maybe new contract, not maybe new all-time highs across the board. But for today and for now, I would think probably $5.75 to $6 in corn is the next levels. 15.50 in soybeans, and probably $7.50 in wheat. Okay. Now again, we're long and we'll stay there until it changes. But the markets are in very solid shape, and now we're getting some events, weather related and some other things that are also helping propel prices higher. So again, and you're seeing a lot of the outside money, which is not normally in these markets, coming in just because, again, they're chasing yield like everywhere else. This is the problem when you're forcing investors only into a couple of opportunities to trade or to invest. And the meats, we are short feeder cattle still, which had a down week, but it was, it looked okay on Friday. Fats are very close. The live cattle and hogs were still long, but we are long fats and hogs. But I like them all. I truly believe that the way that it's setting up, we're setting up for a very similar move in the protein complex as we saw in the grain markets, and we could see a major explosion upside. So we'll see. Listen, the positions are the positions. I give them to you every day, so I'm not going to make up anything new. I'm going to just tell you where we stand and what I think. And the softs, cotton was okay. We're long cotton. We're long OJ. We're long coffee. We're long sugar, and we're short cocoa. Okay, and again, it was really a nothing week in perspective. Okay, our agricultural portfolio made new all-time highs this week, and our new portfolio. But again, it's pretty much of a flat week overall and a quiet trading week, except for Bitcoin, which had some wild swings. Okay, and of course you've got the regulators trying to figure out how to regulate it, which I don't think they can. But again, listen, the crypto space is real. Now, I would never get crazy. I did an interview for Kitco last Monday. Okay, and I said, look, whatever, if I would lose money, okay, I wouldn't care. It would be like a weekend in Vegas that I blew my brains out. But I don't have enough in there because I still have some question as to, how the logistics are eventually going to work. But I would love to see it become a more product that is traded on the exchanges through options and through ETFs. And hopefully, because there's not that many right now, there's a couple that you can use as some biosectors, and you also have, the futures product, but the futures product is very hard to trade because of the amounts of margin due. Okay. But I do like the space, and I do own. Okay. And I mean, my biggest holding, again, I always give full disclosure, is in Ethereum and Stellar Lumens. Okay. I've got one, obviously it's an expensive one now, and I've got one that's 30 cents, which is Stellar Lumens. I think that you can expect, look, if it's going to be real, they're not all going to make it. There's, I think, 8,100 coins now. Okay. But the ones that will make it will be big. Okay? And I do believe it's going to make it because this is the only way to take out the central banking equation, which us libertarians want to do anyways, because the central banks are worthless as far as we're concerned. So we'll see where the markets go. We don't predict. We're not going to forecast. Okay. Just remember, the markets are closed tomorrow. So there'll be no update, but also markets will be open till about noon, electronically. And they could go anywhere. I don't put much stock into what happens on a holiday. Okay. So we'll see. In the meantime, look, markets, the trend is your friend. Capture the meat of the move. That's what you're trying to do to make the most amount of money. And of course, you can always listen to me on Monday night if you want. We can certainly have you as a guest. Any Monday, just send me an email and I'll send you an invitation to our Monday night strategy call. In the meantime, we're going to step out here for a break, and we'll be back with more, in my opinion, and some football after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, with the grain markets going bonkers, and we think cattle and the rest of the markets are going to go bonkers in the agricultural world, no better partner to have than family farms. They've got the same interest we do, which is to help take care of the farmer. Farmers unfortunately work so hard that they happen to get taken advantage of a lot by some of those rogues out there, and of course we want to help defend and help them defend themselves against prices and things like that. So couldn't think of a better partner right now. Obviously, we're still having some issues because we can't, half the world is shut down, but that'll all pick up eventually. We'll get back to business. And our two brokerage partners, and I do have other brokers, but for commodities and futures, there's nothing like CTG. They've got tremendous customer service. They trade my portfolios. They're our only letter direction authorized vendor, and they've got some great managed futures products. Check them out, CTG Group, or you can email me. I'll send you a link for them. And of course, then there's Tradier for equities and options, which, first of all, $10 a month saves me about $10,000 a month. Okay, but if you trade, if you're paying more than 10, you're paying too much. But then you've got, a good customer service. We have their API, so we can automate if you want. And of course, they're giving away a free options course. You don't have to be a trader. You're welcome to join us. Okay, it's the links are posted on the site all week. Every Saturday we do a session. We're up to session 3. I've got the old recordings. If you missed them, you can certainly email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. I'll be happy to send them to you. And our commodity report, Andy Hecht. What can I say? Dynamic. If you're a commodities player, there's no better report than this. Here's a guy that traveled worldwide and traded all these commodities, physical and on the futures board. And of course, our high school program. If you want to help us out at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz, and of course, I got to say something every week. And President Trump, president for another 3 days or so, the only president in history to be impeached for a second time. But more importantly, I ask this question, why are we wasting taxpayer dollars, taxpayer money, and time? They've done nothing. Congress has done nothing for 4 years, Why are we wasting time going through a second impeachment? You have to wonder, you have to ask the question to yourself, why are we wasting the time and the money? The same as when they impeached Bill Clinton. Why did we waste the time and the money? Because he got a BJ. I don't understand what the big ordeal is. Clinton's mistake was he lied. He didn't say I did it because the American people would have forgave him. But why are we wasting another session of time and money to impeach President Trump? We know he's the most hated president in history, although in my lifetime, I will still say that he was the best president from an economic standpoint. And I'm sorry to see him go because I think he did a great job at the things that are important, which are money and running the economy and running the country versus some of the things that people don't like. But, hey, look, the people have spoken, so that's where we are. But I will tell you my opinion here. And my opinion is they're afraid that he could win again in 2024. I mean, he did get the second most votes in history. I think his biggest mistake was what happened in the Capitol, where he didn't step up right away. But other than that, but overall, I think that both parties didn't want him in. The Republicans didn't want him in either because he took away the free gravy trains. Those of you who are happy giving more of our money away to other parts of the world for just giving it away for the sake of giving it away. Hey, look, it's your money, but I'm certainly not thrilled with it. I don't like being back with OPEC. I don't like being back in China. I liked it better before. But that's my opinion, is that they don't want him in anyways. So if they impeach him a second time, he can't run again. Because I do believe that he would win in 2024 if he ran. And if he would have had a smoother transition here, he'd be in position to do just that. In the meantime, that's the only reason. Now, whether or not they can convict him or totally impeach him, I don't know. But you do have some senators turning because, as I've said, neither party wanted him in power because he stopped the gravy train. He started to clean the swamp in Washington, which he said. But at the end of the day, as I said, the people have spoken. But certainly, you have to ask yourself, why are we wasting time and money for a second impeachment? And of course, football season is winding down quickly, and today we've got 2 games today, and we will take the Cleveland Browns. I can't believe I'm saying those words. The Cleveland Browns, and we're going to go ahead and take what's probably a bad play on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, it's no big deal to beat a team a third time, as has been proven by a 70% stat that it's happened over since 1979. But for some reason, I don't know if the noodle arm of Drew Brees can beat the rocket arm of Tom Brady. The two retirees, as they say in Yiddish, the two Alta-cockers that are playing quarterback, 42 years old and 43. But we'll go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a small wager. In the meantime, everybody, have a great week. If you're off tomorrow, great. Have a great day off. And we'll see you back on Tuesday with Bubba's Daily Update. Until then, enjoy. Be healthy. Have a great rest of your weekend. And enjoy the football today. We'll see you next week.